Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is the first lecture of the course titled as Elementary Surveying. It is a formal introduction and you will have the idea that what elementary surveying is all about. Okay, so let us start with the term engineer. Engineer is a person who apply her knowledge of science, mathematics and economics to design, build and or maintain useful structures, engines or machines. Okay. So at the same principle, what does engineering means? Engineering is the branch of science and technology that concerned with the art of applying scientific, mathematical and economic principles to create structures, engines or machines. Okay, simply speaking, by using all these scientific, mathematical and economical principles to create different types of structures, engines or machines. Okay, I have highlighted this word applying as a blue color. Okay, uh, the blue color is actually the emphasize to emphasize that engineering is an applied field. Okay, if any person has some knowledge, it is just a piece of information. But if this information is used to apply in the practical daily life problems or practical applications, then this knowledge can be said as the engineering knowledge. Okay, remember it's very important. Engineering is the applied field of different sciences and mathematical and economic principles. Now, what is civil engineering? Civil engineering is one of the oldest and most widely recognized engineering discipline. It is a field of engineering associated with planning, design, construction, operation, and evaluation or rehabilitation with a balance in environmental control and natural resources consumption for the provision of facilities required for health, safety, ease, and employment of mankind. Okay, this is a lengthy definition of civil engineering. First, you should know that this basic definition of civil engineering will be you will find different definitions at different websites in the different books. So there is no hard and fast, proper, single defined definition. Okay, so it can be different by different authors. I have quoted this definition. Okay, I have divided it into three different colors for your ease: blue, green, and red color. So I am going to explain all of these colors one by one. Uh, Starting with the blue color, here you can see these are the five basic steps that will be used in almost all tasks or all type of construction projects in civil engineering. Okay, these steps are first of all the planning, second step is design, third is construction, four is operation, and five is the evaluation, or you can say it the rehabilitation. So I'm going to give you an example so that you have a clear idea of what civil engineering basic definition is. First step is planning. Let us take an example of a toll. Okay, you may have already traveled along a motorway and almost at the exit of all the interchanges, you see the different tools are working there. Okay, they are collecting some. They charge you with uh, okay, with some amount they charge you and you pay and then you can exit. So let us take that example. In that particular project, first of all is planning. Okay, first comes the planning phase. Planning will include the reconnaissance survey. Okay, feasibility report is prepared in planning phase. The feasibility that either this project uh, can be possible or not. Either it can be constructed or not. Uh, Also, there are different options. For example, in a construction of a road, there can be three or more different choices of the route selection. You can select any kind of any type of or any length of route, uh, and then use it in feasibility report. Same is the case with that in the planning phase. First of all, we plan any construction project and prepare its feasibility report and decide either whether is it possible to construct the project or we should reject that project. Second phase is the design phase. Okay, after reconnaissance survey, or you can say after the feasibility report, then comes the design phase. Design will include the basic design sheets as you have already drawn in civil engineering drawing subject. So the designing of that particular project at the paperwork, or you can say at the drawing sheets. Also, the estimation of quantities also comes under the category of this design phase. And after designing, then comes the construction phase. Okay, construction as per specifications, or you can say exact construction in the field as per design or the design sheets. Okay, the job of a site engineer is actually to construct the project as was provided by the consultant or the client in the design phase. Then comes the operation phase. Okay, the game is not ended by the construction, but operation is also the responsibility of the authority that is taking care of the project. And then final is the evaluation and rehabilitation. Okay, after construction and continuous operation, one has to determine by the evaluation tools or some mechanism to see that the project how the project is working. And in the last, rehabilitation is actually the repair of the project. Okay, I was telling you to take the example of an of a tool. Okay, tool of a motorway, let's say. First come the planning phase, the planning of the tool. Okay, either it is feasible to construct the tool booths at the interchange or not, at what location they should be constructed afterwards. Then comes the design phase, design, and then comes the construction phase, construction of the tool booths. Then comes the operation phase. Okay, now you see all the booths or all the tolls of interchanges in the operation phase. They are operating, actually they are generating revenue, which is normally collected by FWO or NHA or any authority. And then comes the evaluation and rehabilitation. Okay, you see different type of patches at the motorways that comes under the category of rehabilitation. That proper maintenance or repair is required in almost all civil engineering projects. Okay, so these were the different phases that are involved generally in almost all kind of civil engineering projects. Now let us see the second part of the definition: with a balance in environmental control and natural resources consumption. Not only these five phases are involved in the civil engineering project. Next is the with the balance in environmental control and natural resources. So the modern research is mostly related to the environmental factors. Okay, we are directly or indirectly somehow deteriorating the environment by using different natural resources. For example, the coarse aggregate that we use in the construction of buildings or especially in roads, a huge quantity of coarse aggregates are collected from the blasting of different types of rocks or mountains. Okay, so we are disturbing the very nature of the earth by deteriorating its balance, or you can say by blasting the rocks or blasting the mountains, we are actually weaken the earth. Okay, so the responsibility of engineer is also to check the balance of the uh, mountains and earth and all these natural resources. The third part of the definition is for the provision of facilities required for health, safety, ease, and employment of mankind. So this is the output. What are the advantages? You can also explain it in this way that these are the advantages of civil engineering: health, safety, ease, and employment of mankind. Let us see some historical surveying. The earliest days in Egypt. Okay, you have already gone through these pictures. Ihram Misr, we say historical surveying. Egyptians are known to be the father of civil engineering, and all methods of engineering were created by the Egyptians. From all the buildings of the world, pyramids seem to be the most mystical. Pyramid and secret, when typed into any search engine, will give you thousands of results without any problem, and the number of books, the articles, the movies, and the video games with the name Pyramid in the title is not countable. But what is the mystery of the pyramids? The Egyptian pyramids alone have enough mysteries to fill the libraries with books about them, and every year new books and articles about these mysteries are added. Okay, so this is the reference from which this information is taken. You should search it through the internet. These are different kinds of pyramids, different types of pyramids used in different regions of the world. This is in Mexico. This is also in Mexico, Temple of Kukulkan, Pyramid of Cassius, Rome in Italy, and Pyramid of Cassius in Egypt as well. Okay, there are also other different kinds of structures of pyramids that can be seen in different um, regions of the world. So this was how the pyramids were constructed. Okay, this is an imagination. This is a hypothetical analysis of different scholars or analysts. You can say these are the assumptions that this is how the pyramids were created. You can see the size of these stones. Okay, it's a huge stone which is the unit of a pyramid. Just like we use bricks in our houses, these blocks were used in the construction of the pyramids. There were you can see a huge number of people that are pulling this a single stone, or you can say a single brick or unit to the specific place. So this was all the labor work that you can see in this particular slide. Now let us start with a proper definition of surveying. Surveying on or land surveying is a technique, profession, and science of accurately determining the terrestrial position of points, natural or man-made, and the distances and angles between them. Okay, terrestrial means the related to the Earth, all the information related to the Earth. Okay, the simplest, in simplest words, I say that the calculation of these distances, horizontal distances, and angular measurements between these distances. It comes under the category of surveying. I repeat, the calculation of different distances and the angles between these distances. This is simply the surveying. Okay, distances are taken in terms of different points on the earth. Okay, these points are the calculations we are dealing with can be natural or man-made. Okay, these mountains, these are natural, trees are natural, but when we talk about the buildings, it is the man-made or artificial. Similarly, the canals, the dams, the bridges, all these structures are man-made. Normally, determining the position in horizontal plane is called surveying. Determining relative heights or depths is called leveling. Okay, surveying and leveling are almost same, but there is a slight difference between surveying and leveling. Surveying deals with the horizontal calculations and leveling deals with the positions in vertical plane. Okay, or you can say that the calculations involved in vertical heights are known as the leveling. Okay, divisions of surveying. Surveying is basically divided into two major categories. The first one is the plane survey and the second one is geodetic survey. What is plane survey? It assumes that the earth is flat. For small projects covering the area less than 250 square kilometers, earth curvature is not counted for in distances. Earth's surface is considered as flat but not in curvature, not in 3D, not in spherical shape. Geodetic survey. In this type of surveying, Earth is considered to be spherical. When survey extends over the large areas equal to or more than 250 square kilometer and the degree of accuracy is also great, the curvature of Earth in this case also taken into account. Okay, now we are going to discuss the basic differences between the plane surveying and the geodetic surveying. In a triangle having an area of 75 square miles, the difference between the sum of the three ellipsoidal angles and three plane angles is only about 1 second. What does it mean? If you assume a triangle of 75 square miles and take two different set of angular readings, one are the plane angles and the other are the three ellipsoidal angles of a triangle, means three-dimensional and two-dimensional angles, there would be a difference of only 1 second. Plane surveying and geodetic surveying differences. First difference is curvature of the earth is not taken into consideration when we talk about the plane surveying, while the reverse case is in geodetic surveying. Second is in plane surveying, the line joining any 2 points of the triangle formed by any 3 points is considered as straight line of plane triangle, and angles formed are assumed to be the plane angles. In geodetic surveying, the line joining 2 points of triangle formed by 3 points is considered as curved line of spherical triangle, and angles formed are considered as spherical angles. In plane surveying, the area of consideration is less than 250 square kilometers, while in geodetic surveying, this survey is done on large areas equal to or greater than 250 square kilometers. It required lower accuracy, while a high degree of accuracy is required in geodetic surveying. Simple methods and instruments can be used as the low accuracy is required, while in geodetic surveying, very refined methods and instruments are used. Okay, there are some types of surveys. First is the engineering survey. Engineering surveys are those surveys associated with the engineering design topographic. Okay, this is also known as topographic survey. Now, topographic survey, you can also define it as topographic surveys are those in which we collect the information about the natural and man-made features of the land. Okay, I have already discussed what can be the natural features: a stream, a lake, a forest, trees, mountains, hilly areas or plain areas. All these are the natural features. While man-made features, all civil engineering structures are called as the man-made structures, the bridges, the culverts, the roads, the sewerage, all these. Geological survey collecting the information about soil and use this survey for geological purposes. Okay, geo means earth. So what is underneath the earth? There you can see in this figure there are different layers of earth underneath, or you can say different strata underneath the visible ground. So here uh, darker color soil, and here you can see the lighter color soil, and this is the rock portion. So strata is changed as you go deep beneath the earth. So the knowledge of earth and underneath is known as the geological survey. Next is the archaeological survey to collect the information about the location, distribution, and organization of past human cultures. Triangulation survey. This technique is used for surveying and land measurement. In this technique, we divide the land of concentration in triangular bases. Okay, the whole area to be surveyed is divided into a number of triangles, and then using all these triangles, the area is surveyed. It is a very basic and easy technique. Hydrographic survey. Hydrographic surveys define shorelines and depths of lakes, streams, oceans, and reservoirs, etc. Sea survey. This type of survey is associated with port and offshore industries and the marine environment, including relative measurement. So, this is a plan view of a dock or harbor, and this is all the sea survey. Alignment survey. Route survey are made to plan, design, and construct highways, railroads, pipelines, and other linear projects. Aerial survey is a geomatics method of collecting information by using aerial photography, lidar, or from remote sensing imagery using other bands of the electromagnetic spectrum such as infrared, gamma, or ultraviolet. It can also refer to the chart or map made by analyzing a region from the air. Okay, so here you can see a plane is flying. In modern days, you also observe that there are different types and different models of drones. They also fulfill the same purpose that was initially fulfilled by the planes. So what does the drone do actually? This is the area it is covering. As you can see, it records the ground surface as in a video form. So this is the aerial survey. Okay, these are different photos taken by using some drone or helicopter or a plane. This is what all about the aerial survey. Now the classification based upon equipment used. Chain survey, compass survey, theodolite survey, plane table survey, tachometric survey, photographic survey, and remote sensing. All these are different techniques that we use in survey. Based upon the method employed, the different types of surveys are triangulation. Control points are established through a network of triangles, traversing scheme of control points consisting of series of connected lines. We shall discuss all of these in very much details in the upcoming lectures. Now, stages of operations. First is the planning, the methods to be adopted for surveying, the resources, instrument and personnel to be used, the control points, stations to be used. Field observations, collection of field data by making necessary measurements recording of observed data in a systematic manner. Office works include the processing, analyzing, and calculations of observed data, preparation of necessary data for making a plan or map of the area, computation of relevant field parameters as per design for setting out engineering works at site, setting out works to locate and establish different parameters, dimensions at the site as per design for further engineering works, to analyze and to calculate the field parameters for setting out operation of actual engineering works, to set out field parameters at the site for further engineering works. So all these are different stages of operations. Importance of surveying. The question may arise in your mind that what exactly the surveyors do. All engineering projects are a puzzle. The planning and design of all civil engineering projects such as construction of skyscrapers, highways, bridges, tunnels, dams, etc. are based on the surveying measurements. Without these professionally calculated measurements for dimensions and quantity, we would not know how the puzzle looks like. Moreover, during execution, project of any magnitude is constructed along the lines and points established by surveying. Thus, surveying is a basic requirement for all the civil engineering projects. Importance of surveying. Other principal works in which surveying is primarily utilized are to fix the national and state boundaries, to chart coastlines, navigable streams, and lakes for use in the air, on land, and at sea as well, to establish control points or stations having known positions, to execute hydrographic charting and mapping, to prepare topographic maps of land surface of the earth like hills, valleys, rivers, villages, forests, etc. To prepare cadastral maps showing boundaries of fields, houses and other properties. To prepare military maps showing roads and railways communications within the country. To prepare contour map to determine capacity of a reservoir. To prepare a geological map showing areas including underground resources. Surveying projects, streets and highways, drainage and ditches, intersections or interchanges, sidewalks, high low-rise buildings, bridges and culverts, dams and rivers, river channelization, sanitary landfills, mining, tunnels, gravel pits, quarries, storm and sanitary sewers, water and fuel pipelines, canals, reservoirs, railroads, airports, parks, walkways, electricity transmission lines, harbors and ports. So I strongly recommend all of you people that you must use internet and one by one search out these terminologies so that have you can see these images and what these structures really look like. Basic principle used in surveying is to work from the whole to the part. The first step in extensive surveys such as topographic survey is to establish a system of control points with high precision. To do this by triangulation, the area to be surveyed is divided into large number of triangles which are surveyed with the greatest accuracy. They are further subdivided into a number of small triangles which are surveyed with less accuracy. So this is to work from the whole to the part. Second is the to work from part to the whole. On the other hand, if we work from the part to the whole, small errors are magnified in the process of expansion of survey and become uncontrollable at the end. That is why we always recommend to work from whole to the part. Surveying safety. Surveyors, geomatics engineers generally are involved in both field work and office work. The fieldwork consists in making observations with various types of instruments to either determine the relative locations of points or to guide the building and construction work in accordance with the planned locations. The office work involves conducting research and analysis in preparing for surveys, computing and processing the data obtained from the field measurements, and preparing maps, plans, charts, reports, and other documents according to clients' specifications. Sometimes the fieldwork must be performed in hostile or dangerous environments, and thus it is very important to be aware of the need to practice safety precautions. Among the most dangerous of circumstances within which surveyors must sometimes work are job sites that are either on or near highways or railroads, or that cross such facilities. Job sites in construction zones where heavy machinery is operating are also hazardous. In these situations, whenever possible, the surveyor the surveys should be removed from the danger areas through careful planning and the use of offset lines. In the work If the work must be done in these hazardous areas, then certain safety precautions should be followed. Safety vests of fluorescent yellow colors should always be worn in these situations. Okay, you may have seen this yellow color or orange or light green color vests that the surveyors have worn by the time they're performing the survey. Above described hazards can be time dependent. These include problems related to weather such as frostbite and overexposure to the sun's rays, which can cause skin cancers, sunburns, and heat stroke. To help prevent these problems, plenty of fluids should be drunk, large hats and sunscreen can be worn, and on extremely hot days, surveying should be commenced at dawn and terminated at the midday or early afternoon. Outside work should not be done on extremely cold days, but if it is very necessary, warm clothing should be worn and skin areas should not be exposed. Now, the role of surveying in civil engineering practice. Surveyors are needed to maintain the geometric order during the construction process. This is important for you to understand, to maintain the geometric order during the construction process. It is very, very necessary. For example, here you can see it is a simple brick, a unit of a structure. Laying these bricks in appropriate geometry, outstanding structures can be created as shown in the figure. Okay. But what will be the opposite case when wrong geometry is considered? The structure is not functional. As you can see, the window just in front of the flight zone. Okay, this door is inaccessible. Okay, this is the flaw in the structure. So geometry is very important to consider. Here you can see a pole is within the road. So it is very difficult to compact the nearer positions of the pole. To provide quantity control during the construction process, for example, earthwork quantities, to monitor the structure after the construction, deformations, etc. Okay, this is here you can see a visible crack. It is produced due to the deformation or settlement in the foundation. So these all are the considerations of the surveyor. These are different types of. Okay, this is underwater train in Venus. Okay, underwater train. Palm City, you may all be well aware of it. Palm City. This is the telecom tower in Lahore. These are the three towers, Centaurus. Also, these are different structures you may have observed. All these are constructed after the basic step, which is surveying. Thank you very much. This is all for today's lecture.